Hey guys, this is Snack Attack 8, and welcome to the third part of my 500 subscriber special, in which I answer the questions that you guys asked me. We're just gonna kick it off here. We're playing some Castlevania, Symphony of the Night here. This is actually blind, what I'm playing. I thought it would be kind of good to show, just because it's kind of... A lot of this video is really just me exploring and messing around in the inverted castle. And I thought that would be good, because it wouldn't take too much of your attention. So we're showing this today. This is also blind. I've actually never played this part of the game, or this game before. This is my first playthrough of it. So, yeah. So we're going to start off here with Nomo the Domo's questions. First he says, nice on getting to 500 Snack. It must have been the beard boosting your ratings from behind the scene. Yeah, it must have. Sadly, to everyone who liked it, the beard is gone now. I'm back to old smooth face, but, you know, whatever. His first question is, when you and your roommate game, if you do, who usually wins? My roommate and I do game, and when we game, we mostly play shooters, like first-person shooters or, you know, Gears of War. And the like with each other. And as far as winning goes in those games, I think we're pretty evenly matched. Most of the games that we play have co-op in them, and that's usually what we play. And it's kind of cool because my roommate is a lot better at aiming in those games and like precision shots and stuff. But I usually can control and like get around better with the actual like moving and like controlling the character. And I usually am more willing to take risks than he is. So when we play, he's usually the guy with like the rifle who stands in the back and kind of like picks people off from back there. And I'm the guy who's the idiot who runs in with the shotgun and just tries to wreck as much as he can before getting hurt. So, and I think because of those two different ways we like to play, we make a pretty good team. But I think we're pretty evenly matched as far as it goes. And yeah, like I said, we mostly play shooters together. I think we played Smash Bros. One time, and I just completely destroyed him, but he didn't really know what he was doing. I think in any genre other than first-person shooter, I would probably have the upper hand. But as far as shooters go, which is what we mainly play together, I think we're pretty evenly matched. His next question is, when you started LPing, was it a sudden thing or a gradual thing? Now, I'm not entirely sure what he's asking here. I think there's a couple ways this question could be answered, but I think the answer to all those ways is gradually every time. So, like, because if you're asking, you know, how long it took me to start making my own LPs, like when you started Let's Playing, I would say that was probably gradual because I watched a lot of LPs before I actually started making my own, and it took me a while to actually get the courage to, you know, get up and make one, and just kind of jump into the pool. But if you mean, like, when I started LPing, how gradually did it come to me, I think that's also, or how quickly did it come to me as far as, like, getting the hang of commentary and stuff, I think that was also a very gradual process, because I think for most LPers, it takes quite some time to really come into your own and be able to express your own personality through commentary. I think every LPer should kind of have a period of sort of earning their stripes before they really get more involved with the LP community. And I think I definitely had that, so I'd say it was gradual in that sense. It took me a really long time, like I think it does for most people, to sort of build my commentary up and get better at it. And then if you're talking about like subscribers, if those were sudden or gradual, that's also gradual because I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I only right now have 500. So, you know, I'd say it's probably gradual on all fronts there. But you know, for most LPers, it is. We have to remember that the most popular ones aren't not the majority of Let's Players. They're just most of what you see. There's a lot out there who really haven't been discovered at all. And you know, I'm having fun with it, so it doesn't really matter what speed it goes at. Sorry if I kind of got off topic there, but I didn't really know too much about what you were asking, and I thought I would get my little message across, my little spiel. So his next question is early riser or night owl? I definitely have to say night owl. I usually only get up early when I have to, and even then, it feels to me like the hours in the day fly by so quickly. Maybe it's because I don't manage them as well as I could, but usually there's not enough time for me to do everything I wanted to in just a day. And I like the night. It's cool and quiet and dark, and I just like it. This is actually a cool part in the game. I was not expecting this because this is blind, but here you have to fight all the characters from Castlevania 3, which is the first game Alucard was in. So it's like Trevor and Sifa and whatever Grant, whatever that little climbing guy's name is. But this is really cool. I really like that this is in here. This next question, and oh no, that's not his last question. His next question is inverted controls or normal, which I always go normal controls, unless it's like Star Fox 64. I play with inverted controls on that, but I'm not even sure if you can change the control scheme on Star Fox. But other than that, definitely normal if you're talking about like shooters and stuff. His next question and last question is favorite next-gen game, and then he says Xbox 360/PS3. I'm gonna include the Wii in there because that's technically this gen, which I guess is next gen. I'm not really sure how the naming of those work, but and that's kind of a tough question because I really do like a lot of the games that came from this generation. For just the Wii, I'd say Super Mario Galaxy 2 is hands down. That's my favorite Wii game. And probably for the Xbox 360, I'd say Portal 2, which I guess is on PS3 also. I don't have a PS3, and there's a lot of games that are exclusive to that I would have liked to try out, but sadly can't. So I don't know if I'm entirely qualified to tell you my favorite game out of all the next-gen consoles, because I've only played 2 of them. But yeah, so I'd probably just say either Super Mario Galaxy 2 or Portal 2. It's kind of a tie. Next question set we have is from the Johnny Cage. Says, congrats on the 500 subs. I really need to get myself a NES hat. Everyone needs a NES hat, dude. You can actually get this one that I was wearing in the original video on fangamer.net, and it's only $15, which I think is a really good deal. So if you really want one, you can go buy it, unless it's sold out. But I don't think they're sold out right now. I don't know. And then thank you for the congratulations. I don't know if I thanked Nomo the Domo, but thank you for asking those questions, and thanks for saying congrats. Alright, so his first question is favorite game on each Nintendo console, not counting handhelds, which is NES, SNES, N64, GameCube, and Wii. For the NES, I'd say Super Mario Bros. 3. For the SNES, I would say Super Metroid, with Donkey Kong Country 2 in a close second. On the N64, I would say The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, probably with Ocarina of Time following really closely behind that. On the GameCube, obviously, it's Metroid Prime, and on the Wii, Super Mario Galaxy 2, because I just said that. His next question is favorite band, which I can't really pick. It's kind of always changing. But I listed a lot of the bands that I like in the last video, so if you want a really long answer to that question, you can go check that. His next is favorite movie. I love the movie Pulp Fiction, which I think some people think is odd. I've heard people be surprised that that's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite, just because they're like, I couldn't see you liking that. But yeah, I love that film's dialogue over everything else. I think there's really nothing like it out there, and I think even Quentin Tarantino's works after that have sort of failed to capture the same thing Pulp Fiction has. Not saying that they're not good movies. I think they're debatable on, like, you can debate on all of Tarantino's other movies except Pulp Fiction, because Pulp Fiction is just awesome. But yeah, I love the dialogue, I love the general sense of style, and just the over-the-topness of all of it, and it's awesome. And this is kind of hard to explain, but I like things that, my favorite things in most artistic mediums are the ones that are sort of, the word I use to describe this is self-contained, which I don't know if is really the best word, but it's the best word in my mind for it. But what I really mean by that is, like, things that just are what they are, and, like, know what they are and exist to be just that. Those are my favorite types of things, and I think Pulp Fiction captures that really well. But yeah, so I like a lot of movies, but that's the one I use to answer this question. Because, you know, you get asked this question all the time. But yeah, so Pulp Fiction, I would say. So next is favorite video game badass character, which has got to be Samus Aran. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a video game character more badass than her, really. And then his last question is favorite dinosaur, which is an interesting question, because when I was a kid, I was completely obsessed with dinosaurs. When I was really young, like 3 or 4. And I would like sit in the library and just go through books and books of these dinosaurs and memorize all their names and stuff. And if I wasn't able to take home a book that I wanted, like if we had taken too many, I would like sing the name of that dinosaur that I wanted to learn about all the way home in the car, and then write it down so I could go back to the library and like take that book out the next time. So when I was a kid, I really wish I could bring my child self in to answer this question, because I've forgotten a lot about the names of the dinosaurs. But some ones that come to mind that were some of my favorites, one would be Parasaurolophus, which is the duck-billed one that has the big crest on its head that like slopes back. I really liked that when I was a kid because they were always depicted as being really colorful, and I really liked that about them. The next one is, I would say, if I had to pick a couple more, I'm like breaking all the rules to these questions, but I can't give one answer. I really liked Iguanodon, which is the one with the thumb spikes, and I also really liked Pachycephalosaurus, which is the one that had like that really like hard plated plate on the top of its head that scientists were like thought was used for budding, like, you know, like how rams do. I really liked that one too. But yeah, I like a lot of dinosaurs. Oh, and Yoshi. Yoshi also is included. Yeah. Alright, so that's the end of his questions. We're going to do one more set because this video kind of went a little bit longer. And I knew some of the answers to these questions were going to be a little shorter than the previous ones. So we're going to do 3 people. And hopefully I'll try to squeeze it in. Or I'll be able to squeeze it in. So yeah, Sega Squirtle is next. He says, congrats on the 500 subs again. So thanks again, dude. His first question is, who is your favorite LPer? And I'm going to say if I had to pick just one LPer, it would be Nintendo Capri Sun. And I guess some people might think that's a strange choice for me also. And it's not because of like the toilet humor or anything like that, but it's really what I think sets NCS apart from all the other LPers is that he's such a genuinely strange person and doesn't really, especially in his sort of middle-ish to later videos, or to earlier ones, he doesn't really have any inhibitions about showing this strange, ridiculous person that he is to people. And my favorite thing about him is when he tells stories about what's happened in his life and whatnot. Because I think, and a lot of people have said this, I've heard this countless times about NCS, that it's really easy to see yourself in him and identify with the things and the stories he's telling, because he tells them in such a way that you're like, oh yeah, I've totally felt stuff like that before. Whether it be, you know, something emotional, or just something silly, or just anything. And I think it's remarkable that an LPer who has so many subscribers, because NCS is one of the most popular Let's Players on YouTube, I feel that it's remarkable that someone with so many subscribers can have that effect on so many people in just such a personal way. And there's really no other big famous LPer that I can think of who is as personal as NCS is. So definitely him. I'm a big fan, and I'd say Nintendo Capri Sun is definitely one of my biggest influences and inspirations in doing this. His next question is, what is your least favorite game and why? I really don't know if I have an answer to this, because I haven't played too many games that I really just absolutely hated. One that comes to mind is a GameCube game called Universal Studios, about Universal Studios, which I think I rented back in the day, like close to GameCube's launch, and that game was just awful. It's just very hard to find any redeeming qualities in it, from what I remember. So I'm gonna pick that. And this is such a stupid part. I'm just like trying to get at this sword, but these shields take like 1 damage, and I think they must have like 50 or 60 health, because they freaking take forever to take down. And it's pretty funny what happens at the end of this. But yeah, let's go on. So this one has always bugged him. Where's my avatar from? My avatar is a character that appears on 2D Boy's website, which is the developer that made World of Goo. You can see it at the bottom of the site. You can see his head peeking out there. I don't know if the full body image that I use for my avatar actually appears in the game World of Goo or on the website. I'm honestly not sure where it comes from, because I've just found it on Google one day, and it related to the game I was Let's Playing, so I was like, why not? And you know, it's like, it's cool, because it's kind of like, it shows sort of my first LP and like where I came from, but it's also an actual character, but not one that's like known, so it's kind of enigmatic, and I like that about it. And I've pretty much used the little guy for like my entire LP lifespan, so I'm attached to him nowadays. I don't think I'll ever be getting another one that's different. So that's where it's from, kind of. Which do you prefer, retro games or current gen? Honestly, to me, games are games, and it's much less about when they were made and more about how much enjoyment I get out of them. Because, you know, games I played when I was a kid, I guess you would consider those retro games, those have sort of the nostalgia appeal, but current games have more, you know, substance to them. They're usually, there's more to get, like with achievements and stuff, and they're, obviously they have better graphics and they're more updated. And they can provide a lot of different experiences, whereas classic games usually tend to be similar in one way or another. And did you see what happened there? The sword was just like, nope, and I was like, nope too, and I just was like, forget it. But I'd say it's really just about how much fun I have with each one, and I think I've had about as much fun with current gen as I have with retro games, so it's a pretty even split to me. His last question is, what was the first game you ever played? I'm pretty sure the very first video game I played was Galaga on an arcade machine, because that was my dad's favorite game, and I think he had it on the Atari growing up, and so he and I would always used to play Galaga at restaurants and stuff. And if it wasn't Galaga, it was Miss Pac-Man, because that was my mom's favorite game, and you know, they would always be coupled on the same machine. So those two were the first games I ever played. And that's going to be all for today, so thanks guys for asking the questions. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!